So, I'm bringing back the Trap Guide series. If you guys don't remember what these are, they're a guide for trapping. And today we're doing Deliver the Bomb. So, this is not as painful as the other 160s available today. Death Bomb, Death Burst is much harder to deal with. But because it's a fire element, yeah, we're getting right into it. We're going to be using metal. Metal is typically the best in general. The only time you don't want to use metal is against nature. And even in like a metal corrosion, you don't really need to worry about it too much because only the baby zombies or regular zombies hitting the metal structure actually causes that metal corrosion. So typically the basic, if you guys want the most default minimalist build, you just put a base down on this, ramps going out from the sides, wall darts out from the defense. And I'm even going to do a little bit of that now. But we tried that last mission, and that kind of build requires a lot of maintenance. You will need to be doing lots and lots of combat. So you can't always trust random people in pubs, and every mission layout is a little bit different. So I'm going to be starting something right here, right at this front. Whenever you're placing floor freeze or tire traps, I'll even demonstrate with tire traps because I don't know if I'm... You know what? This is kind of rolling down the hill. I'm going to do a little bit of tire trap action just so I can demonstrate because I haven't recorded one of these series in a while, so a lot of people watching might be new. Let's prep it just like this. Tire traps facing backwards, they'll actually stagger much more effectively in that direction, and that right there is not actually how I wanted to place that. So we're going to break it, and then I'm going to show you in a second why I ran a bow build. Yes, it's lazy and easy to run Xenon, but it also allows me to do that, where I can just double jump, and it makes the trapping life a lot easier. So it's kind of ironic that we're simultaneously rolling them down the hill, but trying to stagger them backwards. I'm just working with the terrain that we've got here. And this is probably a little overkill, but this will just be bouncing the enemies, bouncing up and down on the enemies. 3 tiles up is the most bang for your buck from tire traps because they'll bounce up and down and up and down and do a lot of damage, and it'll be the most you can do. This here is probably enough. User input is going to be enough from here on, and I'm just going to leave it kind of how it is because we do actually have an active team here. The idea with this series is to show you just sort of the basics of trapping. You don't need to necessarily place 8 tire traps. This is just me going a little above and beyond. Probably just 6 would have been enough, and from there, if you're killing enemies, it's easy enough to deal with. One of my teammates already started with broadsides here, which is great. And that's actually what I was going to do anyway, which is perfect. And I'm going to do floor freeze again. I'm just going to stagger them back against this wall. Going into a wall can be glitchy because they can glitch through at times. If you're running endurance, you wouldn't want to do that. Typically, you would want to be like pushing them away or off to the side. But I'm just going to go for it and not really worry about it. And then use the wall darts because this can just shoot down the way and it's kind of useful. I'm also going to leave this open on the end here because I'm not sure if any enemies are going to track to this direction. But I think if we just wall it off, we're going to be fine, and I'm not really going to have to worry about it too much. I do want to put some ceiling electric fields here, but what I'm concerned about are enemies walking over from here. So I'm just going to wall this off like so, and then we can even put these facing like this. If you want to be super, super try hard and making sure enemies don't go up here without using any exploits, Archer, then you can go ahead and just do that. I'm going to do what I just showed. Yeah, that wall is going to help a lot. I'm going to go for the ceiling electric field. What I was going to do is use the tire trap up here, but 2 high ceiling electric fields are going to be great because it'll be attacking the enemies coming in and it'll be attacking them when they stop at the base, and hopefully should be enough. I'm not going to place it here because it's still going to make a land bridge, and I just don't want to risk that. And then anything that gets to this section of the map, I'm just going to throw down a couple of wall launchers. Just push them right off the side. Hopefully we'll be able to deal with it. I'll put down, I don't think any smashers are going to be charging from here. Typically tar pits are nice, so I'll put this down in case we get any smasher charges. It's not usually the biggest deal, but I think this is probably enough for at least these 2 sides. From the south side, this is where things get a little tricky because there is, of course, the, what is this called? The anomaly? That's not what it's called. Is there a name for this thing? Does anybody in voice know? The what?
The Rift.
The Rift. How did I never learn that name? I don't, whatever.
Canny lore.
Canny lore. Yeah, because I play with the cinematics off, so there you go. Putting down tar pits just for smashers, like I said. Smashers or any zombie will just be stopped at the gate. I'm going to not use tire traps and just use a few ceiling electric fields, and I think that should honestly be enough. Just a couple off to the side is all we should really need. 6 in a grid like this should be more than enough to defend the basics of the zombies, and if somebody near the defense wants to, or if you want to start it, we should be good to go because we don't really need to worry about anything off to the side because all of the enemies are going to terminate either on our walls on this side or over there. So we have traps set up to defend all of those, and we should be good to go. I think he's having trouble getting in there. Or he didn't hear me. I'm just going to do it like that, and we'll get it going. Well, you ran away.
No, I tried to go in.
It's fine. It's fine. You're not running ninja. I should have thought about that. So I am going to try to shoot as little as possible just to let the traps kind of do what they can. But I did, as I mentioned, trap this with the idea in mind that we do have a team that's willing to kind of defend this if need be. But I sort of want to demonstrate the traps working. So you can see this is sort of what's happening. We're rolling them down the hill while pushing them back up as well, and then the wall darts are just doing their jobs. The ceiling launcher fields from the other side are knocking everything out perfectly easy, and it's gonna be super easy, barely an inconvenience. A nice little adjustment I could even add here is a little wall dart along the wall, and that should help do a little bit of extra damage. I'm running totally rocking out while dealing 0 offense, so I'm gonna take care of any mist monsters that just choose to stop and shoot at me. But as you can see, even like elemental big boys are just getting stopped by the traps. A-Warrior's bullying them a little bit, and they get taken out with no problem. So there you go. You know, I know that not in public lobbies, not everybody actually helps with a mission defense, but it can be hoped. And a nice little physical mist monster is going to track out of that because it's running to me, but it basically died anyway from the wall darts on the edge because I figured there'd be a wall on top that I could connect to. It wouldn't be a trap guide if I didn't fall off the map at some point. But as you can see, the defense is going pretty well. It's going to be a really quick video, actually, because a 4-minute defense does not give us too much to work with, but a mini-boss does. So I'm going to just get a little sweaty here, do a little this, do a little that, jump at the same time, activate my Mantis Leap, and not... Mantis Leap? I don't know why it cut me short, but... Oh, man, damage. This is just nothing. What kind of loadouts are you running? I think a warrior had a Nocturno. Or was that a... Are you using a Siege Breaker?
Oh, man.
I don't know. She might be using a Siege Breaker. Or a Nocturno. Either. That was a quick kill. That was a quick kill. But as you can see, traps are holding up super well. Again, probably overkill. I mean, you can even look at the trap usage. Actually, these did fire quite a few times. But some of these tire traps never even fired. So these back row, completely unnecessary. But it is also worth noting that many of the enemies ran over here. So the routing... I kind of built this before I looked at the spawn, so the routing could have been better paid attention to, and that's why I like to point out these unused traps, because if you're ever trying to replicate this, for whatever reason, if you had a defense similar enough to copy exactly what I did, which isn't always recommended, you could see that maybe this row is just totally unnecessary. Enemies in a big enough party, when everybody's appropriately leveled, they're not that hard to kill, and traps are usually pretty strong. If you guys want the best perks for any of these, link down below. I link all the best perks in pretty much every trap guide. As you can see, double broadsides plus wall darts is super, I want to say overkill, but definitely doing the job. Even a Riot Husky is having a little bit of trouble getting across. Maybe he's glitched out. I don't know why he's not tracking, but he's just going to get frozen by the broadside. You know, frozen in place, broadside, wall dart hit him from the side, and he's just sort of going to chip away as the ceiling electric field, just fire their shots, and yeah. It's gonna be super easy. Super easy. Or a dragon just playing Pac-Man. Don't even need him. I'll wake him if we need him. It's gonna be probably a while though, because these enemies are just walking into it. I even considered, like I mentioned earlier, I was gonna put the extra row of steam electric fields, but while it could be tempting to place that, I am jumping around like crazy. You can see that it's just completely unnecessary. If I wanted to be a little wilder, you know, I'll even demonstrate this just for fun. You could do a couple of wall darts, and that would get some extra damage in on these enemies, but not necessary. It's so tempting sometimes to overtrap, but especially if you're on a budget, it's good to make note of what all is needed, what's not, and even that all said, most of what was placed here isn't necessarily needed because you don't always need to trap the most. Like I said earlier, with the ramps going out, you can just put wall darts on the side and a good base. Like base Kyle is a great lead, Ice King is another fan favorite, and either one of those would make it so that mostly everything is going to be stopped at the walls, and then you can just kill the rest. But if you want to do a little bit less killing and more, you know, safer defending, this was, I think, a pretty good showcase of what you can do in Deliver the Bomb. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment down below if you guys want any more of these trap guides. There's a whole playlist of these if you guys want to check them all out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.